Greetings all, it's John Kenny here for another installment in the in-law secondary suite. Taking your residential home and potentially looking at putting a secondary suite in it. Turning a Halifax basement into a legal apartment is not as hard as you think, but there's a few steps that you have to take to make sure that it's done properly so we don't have any issues with it later. So the first step is to confirm the zoning. Now that's pretty simple and also a lot easier than it was like before COVID. You want to make sure the zoning allows for it. You want to make sure that there's enough parking requirements that the city would ask for. So for a 2-unit, you're going to need 2 to 3 parking spots. It depends what it is. And also that there's no restrictions or condo rules in place. So like restrictive covenants generally are in a subdivision, wouldn't affect you. Sometimes condo rules don't allow you to subdivide your unit if it's a condo townhouse, things like that. So you got to make sure most of that stuff I'm going to check out when I'm showing a house before you even write an offer anyway, if that's your objective. Step number 2 is to think about the layout. So for instance, if I have a 2-story house and I have a basement that I'm not using, so at some point I'm going to lay it out and I'll do a video on that as well. But you need to have a proper bedroom with an egress window. You want to have a bathroom down there with a shower, not a 2-piece, because obviously this is going to be their home to live in. They need a shower. And also a kitchen, because they need to cook. And what does that look like? And also a living room area, right? So pretty standard. Those are the 4 components that you need in there. And ideally, you want a separate entrance. If that's going to be a legal apartment, it's almost a criteria. But for, roommates, not so much of an issue. But the third step is building permits. Okay, so this is once a plan is in place, the layout's drawn, there's a process where you can submit that to the city. And this ensures that when you're doing the construction, that it meets building codes. The big one is fire separation is something that they really are strict on, so that if one unit has a fire or a smoke problem, that the second unit's not affected immediately. And so that's things like additional drywall for a burn rate, air exchangers that are separate 1 unit so they have a different breathing thing, and the safety standards that go in place with that. Step number 4, okay, is the big part. That's the construction and the inspections. This usually includes reframing and drywall in the area, especially if you're adding a bedroom or you're adding a bathroom. Those require no rooms to an open space. That's why it's important when you're looking at a house that if you find a good layout that's already there, it'll save you money as well. Looking for the electrical and plumbing. Do you have enough amperage to support a second unit, a second stove, a second dryer if required? And how's the plumbing going to get hooked into if you want to add a second bathroom? That stuff you have to analyze. Proper fire separation between the 2 units. And again, this is sometimes just drywall, sometimes it's plugging up holes that are between the 2 levels. And also making sure the windows are egress, which I mentioned earlier. So that is the 4th step. And then of course the 5th step is the best step once all the work has been completed, and that's to rent it out legally. So once everything is approved, you're ready to rent. And you go out and search out for your tenant that you're going to bring in. A couple of things that I would suggest is definitely would do a credit check on them. Check their references. Try to make sure they're not a family member or someone. Like, make sure they're an actual landlord that they were giving a reference from, because prior rental situations, a good tenant is worth their weight in gold, because if you don't have difficulties or people that pay their rent every month, it's beautiful. So checking out the references, I think, is really clear. And I have heard of different landlords that have gone and gotten, and they've made it clear when they're in the application process, gotten a criminal record check, because they want to make sure that the person that's living and coexisting with other people, especially if it's in your own home, are not someone that it's going to get, cause you issues going through as far as maybe whatever you can imagine, right? So in summary, those are some of the steps that you want to follow through to make a legal Halifax in-law suite. And the biggest mistake most people make is skipping the steps or going out of order with the steps, like looking at getting the contracts, all that stuff, planning the renovations before they contacted the city to see if they can actually put the unit in. That's a good example. Or buying a house and overpaying for it where the layout doesn't suit your needs, and it's going to cost you more money to make that conversion. You know, a good layout with an existing bedroom down there already, potentially, where you have space for your living room, to put a kitchen in the corner somewhere, and to make your laundry and bathroom a combination space is really one of the better ideas. I can walk you through the process, the costs, and even show you a few homes that would be suitable for this. I'm doing it right now with one client, and like I said, I'm thinking about converting my own place. So helping Halifax home buyers buy homes that not just cost money, but make money, it's pretty fun. It's a good idea for me. It makes me look good. So reach out, call me. Thank you. I'm your Kilty Kenny. Have a great day.